Good morning, this is your AI host, Jay. I'm here with the automatically generated Journato morning headlines on September 30, 2022. Couple contaminate drought-stricken town's water supply by dyeing waterfall blue for gender reveal. Ukraine referendum. Russia claims Indian observer attended voting process. The Independent. Russia claims Indian observer attended Ukraine referendum. Trump News, Live. Trump pleads for political donations from Mar-a-Lago as Florida in ruins. The Independent. What Donald Trump has said about the January 6 riot. The Independent. Trump News, Live. Jared and Ivanka nearly fired by tweet. Book says as Trump predicts Nord Stream war. The Independent. What Mike Pence has said about the January 6 riot. The biggest revelations from Maggie Haberman's forthcoming book on Trump. The Independent. Kushner camping tale, one of many bizarre scenes in latest Trump book. The Guardian. Trump lashed out at George Stephanopoulos in profanity-laced tirade after 2016 interview, new book says. CNN. Trump plotted transphobic response during 2016 debate prep, book reveals. The Independent. Confidence Man. Maggie Haberman's book on Trump, review. Family of Capitol rioter called DC police officer attacked on January 6 a piece of sunt after sentencing. The Independent. Hear what supporter of January 6 rioter told Fanon during rioter's sentencing. CNN. Capitol rioter branded one-man wrecking ball jailed for 7 years. Chester and District Standard. January 6 rioter sentenced to 7 years in prison for assaulting officer. The Independent. The violence was you. January 6 rioter who assaulted Michael Fanon sentenced to over 7 years in prison. Married doctors plotted to give medical information about U.S. soldiers to Russia. Sky News. First trans U.S. Army officer plotted to leak medical records to Russians. The Telegraph. Jamie Lee Henry and Anna Gabrielian, U.S. Army major and wife plotted to pass medical records to Russia. The Times. Former U.S. Army major and wife charged in alleged plot to leak military patients' health data to Russia. Putin says mistakes of military mobilization should be corrected. Reuters. Russians drafted to Ukraine by mistake have only themselves to blame. The Telegraph. Putin's own propagandists turn on draft sending hairdressers and teachers to Ukrainian front. French teachers and transport workers strike over pay and pension age. Aerial photos capture Hurricane Ian devastation on Florida coast. The Independent. Dramatic before and after images show scale of Hurricane Ian's destruction in Florida. Sky News. Hurricane Ian sweeps away homes, memories on barrier islands. The Independent. Aerial footage shows destruction and flooding caused by Hurricane Ian. We want everyone to know her name. Hadiz Najafi, the 23-year-old TikToker, shot dead in Iran protests. Sky News. Iran president says chaos will not be accepted as protests continue. BBC. Iran puts pressure on celebrities and journalists over Mahsa Amini protests. The Guardian. Germany steps up pressure for EU to impose sanctions on Iran. Reuters. Iranian journalist arrested after breaking story of woman's death at hands of police. Russia-Ukraine war latest. What we know on day 219 of the invasion. The Guardian. 4 Ukrainian regions that held referendums to be incorporated into Russia on Friday, says Kremlin. Sky News. Putin to formally annex Russian-occupied Ukraine in hawkish speech lashing out at West. The Telegraph. The Guardian view on Russia's annexations, escalation on escalation. The Guardian. Putin signs decrees paving way for annexing Ukraine territories of Kherson and Zaporizhzhia. Hurricane Ian strengthens and set to make landfall again. Number of deaths in Florida is uncertain. Sky News. Hurricane Ian, live. Tropical storm regains hurricane strength as it nears South Carolina. The Independent. Major disaster declared in Florida after Hurricane Ian slams U.S. state. Financial Times. Joe Biden fears substantial loss of life as Hurricane Ian batters Florida. ITV News. ITV News. Biden to visit Florida when conditions allow, after Hurricane Ian devastation. Putin to annex Ukraine territories as Kyiv warns of very harsh response. The Independent. UN chief warns Putin that annexing Ukraine territory is a dangerous escalation, with no legal value, as it happened. The Guardian, Russia to annex 4 more areas of Ukraine, BBC News. BBC News, Ukraine War, Live, Putin to welcome annexed Ukrainian regions in Red Square ceremony. The Independent, Putin set to annex more Ukrainian land as UN warns of dangerous escalation. This was all for the news. Thanks for listening. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.